Hey VC, it's Ron. Welcome back to another edition of the Hog's Ear Report. This time around I've got some recent finds, I've got some thrift store finds, I've got some reissues, I've got some originals, I've got some garage, I've got some Kraut rock, I've got some Prog, a little of everything. And we're gonna get started here. I got some Almond Dual 2, and this is Kraut rock. This is an original US pressing in 1972. This is actually their 5th album, but it's their 2nd album to be released in the United States. Some of these don't have the gatefold, but this one does have the gatefold. This is an original first pressing, and just a really cool album. That's one thing I don't have much of is Kraut rock, so I'm really starting to get interested in getting some of this stuff. Yeah, this is a really cool album, and most of the ones that you see that change hands are probably, they're either UK or they're German. The US ones don't pop up that much. And then I just got this today. This is Kangaroo. And this is an original German pressing on Brain. And this is Kraut rock. And it's what's playing right now. So, yeah, I've not gotten into this that much yet. It's still new to me, but from what I hear, it's really cool, and from what I understand, it's one of their better albums. So I got a really good deal on this. They had it in the record store for a long time at $80, and I went in today and they had it marked down to $40. So plus I had 20% off on top of that, so I ended up getting it for 32 bucks. And when I got it home, it had a sticker right here, and when I peeled the sticker off, underneath in pen somebody had written $2, and it kind of pissed me off that they deliberately covered the writing up, just to hide it. And this is not the first time that that's happened out of this store. It's happened before, and I'm definitely going to be complaining about it. But luckily this has got a glossy cover, so I took a little denatured alcohol and water solution that I used to clean my records with, and I put it on there, and the ink came right off. But there's no trace of it at all. So I really got lucky with this one. Excellent album. And then I got this one really cheap. This is Magna Carta, and this is on the Vertigo label, and this is an original UK pressing, and the name of the album is Lord of Ages. And this came out in 1973, and this is a pretty good album. Nothing great, but definitely enjoyable. Nice mellow, sort of UK folkish prog psych, and the singer reminded me a lot of Paul Simon. And then I got Family Entertainment, and this is a UK pressing, and this is not a first pressing, it's a second pressing. The original first pressings will be on the tricolor reprise, but it does have the lyric insert. And this is a really good album from 1969. I think it's their 2nd album. So yeah, this was a good one. And then I got Illusion. This is a US pressing, Out of the Mist. And this is basically early Renaissance. They came back under the name Illusion. It's on the Island label. And this came out in 1977, the year after Keith Relf passed away. And it has Jane Relf on vocals and also Jim McCarty on vocals. And I'd never heard Jim McCarty sing before, and I was actually kind of surprised. He can actually sing. You know, it's pretty cool album. And if Keith Relf hadn't passed away, he would have ended up on this album. So it adds a little eeriness to it. And when I first put it on, and Jane started singing, and then I heard Jim McCarty come in, and I just felt Keith Relf's spirit in the music. It was very, it was kind of a eerie feeling that came over me. It was almost like I was listening to Keith, but it was Jim singing. So it was pretty strange. But yeah, really good album. It rocks out in a few places. I definitely recommend this album. This was their first album, and they had one that came out after that, and then later on there was a third album. I think it came out about 1990, but it was recorded years earlier, like 79, and so it was previously unreleased material. And on that album it does have the Keith Relf track, All the Falling Angels, that was on a 45. And then I got an original pressing of Kraftwerk Trans Europe Express, and this album came out in 1977. And this is a US pressing, has the inner sleeve. Now this album's not as strong as some of the other ones around this time, but it does have, here's the label, red capital. It does have a song on here called Hall of Mirrors. And that's this real eerie, atmospheric techno psych. Very, very cool song. That song alone makes the whole album worth owning. And then I got Robert Calvert, and this is Captain Lockheed and the Starfighters. Robert Calvert was off and on singer for Hawkwind, and this is from 1974, double album reissue on Back to Black, and it is pressed on gray vinyl. I got this 40% off, brand new, and I like it. The thing that I don't like about it is it has a lot of dialogue in between the songs. Sometimes it'll go on for like 2 minutes, and it's basically sort of light comedy chatter going on. And it has a lot of famous people on here. The people that do the talking in between the songs are Vivian Stanshall, who was in the Bonzo Dudok band, and he was a singer. Jim Capillardi is on it, and he's in the talking part of it. And as far as the musicians go, Lemmy plays on it. A lot of Hawkwind alumni are on this. Lemmy plays on it, Nick Turner, Dave Brock, Twink plays on a track, Bob Calvert, Arthur Brown sings on one song. Yeah, the music part of it's really cool, but the dialogue in between the songs really hurts it, I think. And this is the Missing Links, and this is a rare Australian sort of garage rock album, just like a Pretty Things album. Really, really cool. I was surprised how good this album was. And I got it for $10.99 brand new, and the original price was $20. So that's quite a discount. Really cool. The sticker says it's from 1965, but if it is, it's got early Psych on it. There's a Psych version of Mama Keep Your Big Mouth Shut. Lots of freaky guitar and stuff, and then the album ends with that song completely backwards. And I think it would, if they're gonna do that, they should have just done the backing tracks, but they included the vocals in with that too. I think it would have been better with just the backing tracks. But very, very cool, and I highly recommend this. Just like the Pretty Things, but it's a little bit more wild. And it includes a rare EP, a reproduction of a rare EP that they released. The Missing Links Unchained. And this has got I Go Crazy, Don't Give Me No Friction, One More Time, and Wooly Bully. Really, really cool. And then I got The Idle Race. This is a record store day, and 2014 record store day, and it's on colored vinyl. It's kind of got some swirl in there. It's all one color, but it's got some swirl pattern into it. Pretty neat. It features Jeff Lynne on vocals before he went into The Move, and then later, of course, you go into ELO. And here's the gatefold. It's got like a lot of famous people included into that ballroom picture. It's got the Beatles. Here's John Peel right here. A lot of famous people are included into that. Good album, good pop psych. I think it could have benefited if it was a little bit more psych. It's definitely not real psych, but it's a pretty cool album. And then I got The Last Big Brother and the Holding Company, How Hard It Is. And Dead Wax 66 recommended this album, so I was able to locate a copy. Very cool album. And it's on Columbia, 1972. And then this is a 12-inch promo, Neil Young, opera star. Backed with Surfer Joe and Moe and Sleaze. 12-inch single. And this is really cool to have because it has a airplay edited version of Opera Star. Opera Star, this is from 1981, and this is the first time that Neil ever said fuck on a record. And he says getting fucked up in that rock and roll bar. So obviously they couldn't play that on the air, so they did an edit, and it says getting jacked up in that rock and roll bar. And if you listen really close, you can hear the edit. And then I got Grimm's Rockin' Duck, and this is like a mint copy. It was originally released in 1973 in the UK, and it was released here in the US in '76. And I got it because it's got Neil Innes on it. I love Neil Innes. And it also has the guys from Scaffold, who included Mike McGear, who was Paul McCartney's brother. They're all on here. And not much Neil Innes on this, but there is one really good song on here by Innes that rocks, and it's Ooh Chaka Mau Mau. Really excellent song. And it's on the Antilles label. Rockin' Duck. And then I got this out of a thrift store, Vangelis. And the soundtrack. Polydor, 1979. Not one of his better albums, but definitely a cool thing to put on late at night, just to relax to. And John Anderson plays harp on that album. And then I got a little bit of jazz out of a thrift store. And this is a 10-inch, and unfortunately it doesn't have the cover that goes with it. It's on the Mercury label, and I did some. It's by Illinois Jacquet, and the name of the album is Cololats, or something like that. This is really good. Really cool horn on this, and I think it's from. I think it was recorded in 1953, if I remember right. So definitely it's pretty clean, sounds good. It's pressed on polystyrene, but still sounds pretty good. And then I got Salvadore, Frivolous Sal. And this is an original 1956 guitar jazz album, bebop jazz, clean shape on Bethlehem label. And this is worth around 40, I think around 40 bucks in that neighborhood. Pretty good album. Recorded February 1956. And then I just picked these up today. Ruth Wallace EPs and cardboard covers. And it's on her label, Wallace Original. 4-song EPs. And this is the first one. And I mean, they're pretty good shape, man, and I got them for 50 cents a piece. And she was a cabaret singer, and she did a lot of sexy double entendre songs. She wrote her own music, wrote her own lyrics, and put out her own records on her own label, because she didn't want to get hassled by record companies. I read that her songs were banned from Boston radio in the 50s, and when she went to Australia, her records were seized by authorities. So, pretty cool. I had some other Ruth Wallace, but I didn't have any of her EPs. Okay, that does it for this edition of the Hog's Ear Report. So, catch you guys next time. Happy hunting, and be sure to wash your hands after you dig through those records. A lot of nasty germs out there. See you guys.